Hello, gorgeous people. Weather in the UK has been all over the place again in terms of it's been very, very, very hot and then just kind of nice as it normally would be at summer, like 25 degrees. We are just about to rocket into a 30 plus degree week again, I think. So I can feel it's getting hotter again. But I really enjoyed this week having a little bit of respite from that just constant, overwhelming, sweaty heat. So I've got a bit of a mixture this week. I have some that I wouldn't normally wear when it was very, very hot, but like are good for warm weather. Um, but then I've got a couple that are definitely really good for very hot weather. So this is probably the one that I wore on the hottest day. I think this was, yeah, last weekend, because it's been a little bit cooler and it's only getting hot again now this weekend. So again, a shame. I don't think you can get this anymore. This is Cherry Watermelon Ice from Zara, and this is one of the Joe Love's collaborations. Joe Love, for Zara, they've just released a new one called Lychee and Lemongrass, and I kind of want to smell it because anything I've smelt from Jo Malone from Zara, I haven't come across one yet that has that tarry aroma chemical in that nearly all the Zara perfumes have. So I'm more interested in the Joe Loves and Jo Malone kind of collaborations and the general collaborations with more famous perfumers, because they seem to be a little bit safer whenever I've smelt them, but we'll see. So if I get a chance, I'll definitely go and sniff that new one. Some people really love it. Some people say it smells like celery on Fragrantica, but we shall see. So Cherry Watermelon Ice, this is one from one of her, I think, early collaborations with Zara, and then they bought it back last year and I bought it last year. And I mean, this has that kind of slightly cucumbery, cool, not overly, not, well, it is sweet, but it's not like sugary sweet watermelon. It's more like a natural fructose sweetness in this. So this lists watermelon in the top, lily of the valley in the mid, white woods in the base. But the original version of it, I think, has like cardamom or something. Let me check. Green leaves, cardamom and watermelon. So I definitely get a slight, very light muskiness in the base of this, slight sweetness. It's a really good watermelon, but I always say it smells like it's deliberately a watermelon vodka over ice, like in a garden with some flowers, with some white flowers. So it's very good for very hot weather. Like, it just works really well in really hot weather. It's subtle, it's pretty. If you can get hold of it, I think, and you like watermelon-y perfumes, then I think it's really, really good. But otherwise, you know, it's one of those that you don't really find anymore, which is a real shame. And then, okay, so I wore this. This is one of the Guerlains, and it's one that, again, they don't make anymore, but you can easily get this on eBay. Like, I mean, so easy to get it on the grey market still. This is a perfume that I do think is kind of unusual, and when I was wearing it, I was thinking, I really, really like this. I only like this in warm weather. This is Mon Guerlain Bloom of Rose, the Eau de Toilette. I do not like the EDP. The Eau de Parfum, I think, almost, if I remember correctly, has a little bit of that tarry smell. It's got a very strong, like, patchouli in there. There's something I don't like about it at all. The EDT, though, it's a very strange smell. It's weird that it's called Bloom of Rose, because you can get a bit of rose, but it's definitely not a rose-forward perfume. I'd say that the neroli is much stronger here, and the citruses are really strong, but you've still got that strong Mon Guerlain lavender in this. So it's quite an unusual scent. Like, I feel like this is something that really appeals to me because I like lavender a lot and I like Mon Guerlain. I also like citrusy perfumes, but this doesn't lean into smelling like the kind of cologne-y citrus and lavender smells that a lot of the male perfumes, and especially the classic colognes, have. But what do they call them? Like, is it like barbershop perfumes they call them, or something like barbershop cologne or something like that? Those traditional ones often have lavender and citrus. But yeah, this, I don't know. Let me read you the notes. This is citruses and lavender in the top. Mid notes of neroli, Bulgarian rose and jasmine sambac. Base notes Tahitian vanilla and sandalwood. I'm quite sure there is some kind of musk in here as well, because I think there is a slight thickness in the base, but not much. Like, this definitely is the high heat Mon Guerlain for me, which is why I wore it while it was like maybe 26 degrees. I wouldn't wear this when it was 30 something degrees, because it's too perfumey for me. But it's definitely, I get a beautiful sweet neroli. The vanilla in this stops that neroli and the citruses from going like sharp or too green. But the lavender is so fascinating in this. And it's really, really pretty. It's really nice. I really like this perfume, but it is one I probably only wear like once a year. So it's not one of the Guerlains I feel I need like a backup bottle of. But I also find it really interesting, intriguing. It's unusual. It's really pretty. It's bright. It's just a really nice scent. So like I said, that is the Bloom of Rose EDT, not the EDP, which I do not like. Probably the only Guerlain I've ever smelt that I actively disliked. The EDP. What's next? All right, let's do this one. Another one that I think is just so pretty, and definitely, I mean, personally, I don't think I'd wear this one in 30-degree weather, but like in the mid to late 20s. Oh God, this is so pretty. It makes me feel like I'm on holiday. A lot of the Korres perfumes do. So Sikinos, absolutely, just such a lush perfume. So Sikinos, let me just get this so it's not too glary. You might be able to read it if you've got a big TV, if you're not watching it on a tiny screen. I love these bottles. I love that they have notes on them. This perfume, honestly, so much smells like a holiday. It brings me so much joy. So this is freesia, watermelon and bamboo in the top, middle notes of lotus, mimosa and salt. So I think it's like a sea salt. Base notes, musk, sandalwood and cedar. Now this one, I do get watermelon, and I do think it actually does smell like watermelon a little bit. But it's not, I don't really think of this just as a watermelon perfume in the way I think of like cherry watermelon ice or whatever it's called. I wouldn't think of Sikinos as specifically a watermelon perfume because I think there's so much going on here. And I think the freesia is quite strong. I think the lotus is quite strong. The bamboo, it's quite salty. It's a bit musky. It's got this soft, soapy feel to it in a way, like a clean, soapy feel. Not shampooey at all, and not quite heading into body lotion. But in that classic, Korres has a few perfumes like this that almost feel like, because Augustus is the same. And is it called Kima? Ooh, I can't, not Kima. There's another one that's really pretty, but it was a bit too shampoo for me. But they all have something in, they might have a similar musk or something, but there's like this clean, ever so slightly bar soapy feel to a lot of them. But this one smells so much like a lovely holiday. And I don't think I would want this in super hot weather because I think the salt would get too strong for me in super hot weather. But I like the fact that this has that salt there. It's like this creamy floral with a juicy, slightly sweet fruit, a powdery mimosa. And then I feel like it's probably the lotus and bamboo that is giving like a clean feel, a nice kind of musk. And then that salt, like it's such a nice perfume. And weirdly, when I was wearing this, I was thinking to myself, it's making me think of Sunflowers, not by Elizabeth Arden. Not because I think it actually smells like sunflowers, but there was something about the vibe of this that was making me think about those kind of very bright, sunny, melony florals, you know, back from the late 90s. And then when I was looking at the comparisons, it's been compared to L'Eau d'Issy from Issey Miyake, which I do think is in that same kind of wheelhouse. It's in the same general area as like Calvin Klein Escape and Elizabeth Arden Sunflowers, you know, like that kind of melony floral. But this smells more modern, it's easier going, the salt's really interesting. L'Eau d'Issy is one that is a bit headachy for me, like I don't enjoy that perfume. I love the smell of sunflowers, but I find it quite hard to wear. I find it slightly overwhelming in the way a lot of the 90s florals are a little bit overwhelming to me. And Escape is just a headache in a bottle for me, even though like I kind of appreciate that general profile. But this is just Sikinos is so nice. Like it's such a nice perfume, and it's so affordable as well. Like even full price, I think these are about £40 for a 50ml. But you can nearly always get them for much better price. And if you can get a rollerball, I think they do 10ml rollables, again, like an even better value. Really, really loved wearing that. I thought I smelled amazing. And weirdly, I think out of all of the Korres perfumes I've got. I feel like Sikinos is the one that lasts the longest on me as well. Like I could still smell it in the morning when I woke up, and I'd sprayed it on not before I went to bed. I'd sprayed it on maybe in the evening when I got home. So let's say about 7 o'clock in the evening, 7 p.m., and I could still smell it on me properly. Not just my hair. I could smell it on my skin when I woke up the next morning. So I just think it's brilliant. I love it. All right. So let's do from something affordable to something not so affordable. Another perfume that I think is slightly unusual smelling, but also beautiful. Let's have a quick sniff. I mean, I say unusual. I have actually smelled a couple of things that I think smell maybe a tiny bit like this, but not quite like it, if that makes sense. It's summery. It's tropical. It's Moheli or Moheli from Diptyque. I'm never quite sure how I'm supposed to pronounce this, so just please don't make fun of my terrible, very British pronunciation. I didn't even say pronunciation right then, for goodness sake. So, they haven't got top, middle and base listed for this, but I'll just read you, and I've put these in the order of the votes for what's the strongest. So, Ylang Ylang. Floral notes, ginger, pink pepper, vetiver, benzoin, patchouli and incense. Now then, I would have this Ylang Ylang. Where it says floral notes, I think there's probably some tuberose in here. It gives me a vibe that there's Ylang Ylang and tuberose in this. I don't know. Like, I'd be really interested. Tell me, you guys, if you've got this or if you smell it, if you think the same thing. But it's giving me the beachy kind of tuberose, the not bubblegummy tuberose. It's giving me a little bit of that. So I feel like maybe there is Ylang Ylang and tuberose, pretty classic for a kind of beachy, summery floral. I get ginger, definitely. I get lots of pink pepper, especially when I first spray it. And I get the incense. As soon as I spray it, I get some incense. And then that kind of dies down. But the ginger is strong. And the pink pepper is quite strong as well. I don't normally like pink pepper, but I kind of like it in this. There's something about... I quite like the pepper that they have in... like both black and pink pepper that they use from Diptyque. Like, it's very warm, spicy, almost a bit nose tingly, but it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, this isn't... It's such a weird one because they're not listing any fruits, but there is something so juicy about this perfume to me. And I don't think it can just be the ginger that's like a very juicy ginger. It's the same, you know, like when I tried Burberry Goddess the first time, and I was like, it could be that the ginger is what's giving that juicy quality, but I think probably there's fruit. And here, I mean, what would I even think it was? I mean, probably classic bergamot or something, you know, there's maybe something citrusy here. Or maybe something a bit more tropical that still has a bit of a citrusy feel, but... there is a watery sheerness to this. It's an eau de toilette, obviously, but like, it's very floral. It's warm, spicy, while also being summery and sheer. And I don't know that I'd say aquatic, but it's definitely got a transparent feel to this perfume, even though this is another one that I can smell on myself quite clearly. It's not a million miles away. I mean, it doesn't actually smell like Ilio, but it is that same kind of feel. Like, it's not as powdery as Ilio, and it's a different scent profile, but in terms of the way it feels, like a kind of wash of sheer scent that's like summery and beautiful, it's that kind of feel. So I'm just looking at the comparisons because this is obviously an expensive perfume. The thing that I smelt that I thought, well, there's two actually, on the cheaper side and not exactly this, but in a weird way similar to it, is Body Shop Moringa. So Moringa also smells a little bit like Ananya, which I think was a floral perfume that definitely had what's it called, tuberose in it. So yeah, I get a little bit of Moringa because I did have that, but Moringa has more of a, it sort of turns into a bit of a body lotiony, kind of buttery, like a body buttery kind of texture, which is why I didn't keep that one. But it has the same kind of feel about it. And then the one that I thought might be a decent alternative, it's not identical, but It's Charlotte Tilbury's Joyphoria. Now, most of that range I think just smells like chemical hell. Joyphoria was the one that I thought smelled the best, and also it's the one that kind of reminded me a bit of Moheli. So that one though, that's like ylang ylang and tuberose, neroli. Again, it hasn't got any fruit listed. It's got coconut water, so it's probably not exactly the same because I don't really. Am I getting something coconutty from this? I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I'm getting something a bit more tangy. It's like a tangy floral again, you know. But yeah, the more I smell it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, Moringa definitely has something hand in hand with this, and I think Joyphoria does as well. But anyway, been talking about that one for ages, but I think it's really beautiful, and I always feel quite fancy when I wear Omahili. It does feel like a bit of a fancy scent, but it's also a little bit tropical in a it's not a cocktail kind of tropical, you know. It's really good. So then on one of the cooler days, I was thinking about what I wanted to wear. I was like, what am I in the mood for? And then I just did some sniffing, and every time I sniff this bottle, my eyes roll into the back of my head. I cannot get enough of this perfume. I mean, again, Jesus, because also like, I think I could smell anyone of any gender or any gender expression wearing this and be like, that smells amazing. It is made for women, but I do think it just veers ever so slightly into being like a very safe unisex perfume. So this is Guerlain. I love Guerlain. I love it. You can see I love it. This is a 50ml. I bought this during my tenure here on YouTube. I have a backup of it. This is not the original lid, and it's missing its chain. This is a tester bottle. The chain just kept falling off, and I got sick of putting it back on. So, and plus I don't need it to know what it is. So, Guerlain, it's just... I always find it kind of hard to describe this because it's such a specific smell, and I just love it so much. But it's kumquat, pear blossom, lemon blossom in the top, mid notes, cactus flower, jasmine and wild rose, base notes, musk, coconut and woody notes. You get a bit of the woody notes. The coconut and the musk, I think, just create almost that soapy, bar soapy musk that I love. The musk in here is quite thick. I could not wear this in 30 plus degrees. It's just too thick, you know, and it's too musky. I can't really do musky perfumes when it gets very hot. I need something a bit crisper. But I get the kumquat, I've got lemon blossom, the pear blossom, the jasmine for sure. Not really sure I get much rose. Cactus flower, I'm pretty sure I get a scent for that. I have got a few perfumes that got cactus in. So, I mean, it's just so pretty. The kumquat's really unusual. I really like kumquat. I love it in Le Jardin de Monsieur, which I might wear at some point this week, actually. I've been looking at that one. And my husband has the kumquat and myrrh from 4711. It's like a really specific, interesting fruit that's maybe like it's got like a slightly citrusy feel, but it's also quite unusual, a little bit tropical smelling. I can't get enough of Guerlain, and it's one of my favourite affordable perfumes. I think it's quite strong. Like not in a, I mean, you know, we're not talking like Chanel No. 5 kind of classic perfume strong, but I mean in terms of a lot of the fruity florals that I have, I'm really aware that I'm wearing this. I think it has a really good scent bubble. My husband always really likes this one, although he's not really been able to smell much in the last few weeks. I think maybe he's got some kind of hay fever or something. But it's so good. And like I said, there's something about the wood here, and I think I don't really know why. Maybe it is just the wood. Maybe it's just the musk in the wood that just makes this sexy. Like it stops it being just a classic fruity floral and puts a toe into something more unisex that just makes this so sexy. And like I said, I can't smell this without closing my eyes. And the first time I smell it, my eyes always roll into the back of my head. I find myself delectable in Guerlain. So anyway, I've talked enough about it. You know I love it. I'm always going to love it. It's such a good one. And then, all right, I broke this one out. This was interesting wearing this one because when I first got the two tea perfumes, the limited edition from Aqua Colonia from 4711, this was my favourite. There's this is Matcha Frangipani. So Matcha Frangipani and the other one that came out at the same time of this, they were both tea perfumes, is Green Tea and Bergamot. And at the time, I thought this was my favourite. But as it developed, nowadays, the bergamot is my favourite for some reason. I do really like this one still, but I love the green tea and bergamot. This is sweet, it's powdery. I do get a little bit of matcha for sure, but I get a lot of the sort of frangipani, and then there's this sort of sugary sweetness. This perfume reminds me, I mean, this is looking a bit dark, isn't it? Even though, I don't know, guys. I've got a light on it. You wouldn't really know. So matcha frangipani reminds me, in terms of its profile, quite a lot of Tea Tonic from Miller Harris. But the thing is, Tea Tonic is crisper and maybe slightly more citrusy. It doesn't have the same powdery quality, you know, that the Matcha Frangipani does. But the dry down of it, the actual smell, the profile really reminds me of Matcha Frangipani. Now, you cannot get Matcha Frangipani anymore. It was a limited edition. It's basically disappeared from most places. I think maybe this one you might be able to find it on the grey market. The bergamot one's gone. Like, that's totally gone. But Tea Tonic is available. It's obviously much more expensive, but it's the only Miller Harris, I'm pretty sure, that I would actually quite like a bottle of. Like, if I could find a little 15 ml of Tea Tonic, I'd be quite happy, and I'd just have that and take that around to wear. I don't need it because I've got this, and even though this is kind of sweeter and a bit more powdery, very, very similar experience to wear. But yeah, I mean, they don't give you any other notes other than matcha and frangipani. It'll be interesting though. I'm looking at Tea Tonic. Yeah, it's got mate and birch and musk and bergamot and lemon and petitgrain. Peach blossom, interestingly. So it has a floral, but a different floral. But yeah, somehow they're very similar. I'm sure there's loads more notes in this. But it's really fun to wear. It's really pretty. It's really quite sweet, actually, is Matcha Frangipani. It's one of the sweeter tea perfumes that I own, and it's very nice. So I enjoyed that. And then this guy, because I love wearing this. I wore this on a very hot day, actually. And it worked. It made me feel clean and fresh and nice. Because that's what it is. Let's see me absolutely butcher. What's this called? Clarins Eau Ressourçante, I think, is what it's called. As I call it, the blue Clarins. Another quite affordable perfume. I always find it interesting because in the main accords, violet is listed, but that's not in the notes. However, when I first smelt this on my aunt when she was wearing it, I thought she was wearing a soft, clean violet perfume. So I do get violet from this, even though the notes are basil and lemon in the top, mid notes of iris, base notes cedar and benzoin. This is another one that's quite hard to explain because when you first put it on, it's lemon and basil, like very strongly lemon and basil. So it smells astringent and fresh and herbal, a little bit acidic, like little kind of wake you up, smack you in the face, get up, you know, that kind of smell. And then it dries down and you get this really delicate, to me, violet, iris, clean laundry kind of smell with a bit of warmth from that benzoin. Like, it's so, I really like this perfume, and every single time I wear it, my husband tells me I smell nice, like every time. And whenever I see my aunt, because I think this is her scent, like she just smells nice and she smells clean. And she used to work in caring for the elderly, so it's a really good perfume if you just want to smell nice and clean, but you don't want to overwhelm anyone, which is why it's good for warm weather as well. So it's a perfect perfume for kind of no perfume areas in that respect. I just think it's lovely. I've never got on with the red Clarins because, is that odynamatism or something like that? Oh God, I can't do it. I can't say the words. But that one's too patchouli heavy for me, so I've never liked that. But I like the Jardin one. I've got a miniature of one of their more recent ones, which is also really nice. I like their treatment fragrances. I think they're really nice and perfect if you're a fusspot like me and you want something that doesn't smell like chemicals and you want something that's just fresh and clean and nice and isn't too strong. Like, it's great. So yeah, I really enjoyed wearing that, and it's been a nice week. It's been an interesting mixture, I think. I've sort of mixed it up with different styles this week. I'd say that Maybe Moheli and Sikinos are kind of the closest in terms of having a specific like holiday fruity floral vibe, and maybe like a slightly waxy texture for both of them. Moheli definitely has a waxy texture. It's like you can almost feel the petals from the ylang ylang. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, what's my favourite out of these? I do. Oh, I mean, Guest Air. Oh my god, I just love it so much. Just smelling it right now just makes me want to wear it again. But I am wearing something else today, so I shall stick with my current perfume. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna have a quick look at my calendar because I'm going away again, but I don't think it's this weekend coming. I just want to make sure I can let you know. Yeah, so I'm good. I'm here next weekend, and then I am away for the weekend, starting Friday 17th. So that will have to be another doubler the weekend after. So I'll probably do what I did last time, and I'll do a two-parter. I'll do one on the Sunday and then one on the Wednesday after. So you get to still see all the stuff I wore, especially because I'm going to be traveling up to a friend of mine. So I might take some stuff up to test there, or yeah, maybe some of my pen spray stuff. Maybe I haven't worn that often, and I might take some perfumes up for her and her kids to try as well, like some stuff that I'm not keeping. So anyway, I will fill you in on all of that at a later date, but I will be back on Sunday next week. Thank you for watching this one. Tell me if you've got any of these, if you've tried them, what you like, if you disagree with me on any of them, obviously. Let me know what you've been wearing, and I hope you're all surviving the hot summer we're having. Thank you so much for watching. You're all wonderful and beautiful and gorgeous, and I bet you all smell absolutely lush. So I'll see you next week. Bye!